That was Carrie Sanders reporting. African nations are also ramping up their response to Ebola. This week, the African Union made a plea for its members to send medical staff. More than 600 medics will come from East Africa. But what sort of conditions are awaiting them? CCTV's Katarina Vitozzi went on shift with one nurse in central Liberia.
So I just went online to the IMC. I was looking to, my contract had ended in my last job, and I was looking to do some emergency work, and I didn't have a contract at the time, and Ebola, there was a huge Ebola breakout, so I went on IMC to see, and they were just setting up their ETUs, so they needed nurses and doctors, and yeah, I just applied, and it all happened quickly. I think after applying, I think it took like 3 days before I flew out, and then now I'm here.
Here is an Ebola treatment unit in central Liberia. It's run by the NGO International Medical Corps and funded by the United States.
Hello.
32-year-old nurse Audrey Rangel arrived 6 weeks ago.
So all of us do our organizing in the mornings here, and we have our meetings, our handover on the board here. So our nurses, we gather in this room in the mornings, and we'd give handover, talk about what happened on the shift before and what we need to do for that day.
Rangel has worked as a nurse across the world in challenging environments, but this is the first time she's worked in an epidemic.
The first thing my mom said, she was like, oh, I was just talking to someone yesterday and saying, well, at least she's not in Africa working on Ebola. I was like, surprise! So, I think as long as you know the facts, as long as you know that the disease isn't transmissible if you don't have symptoms, and if you know those facts, then it eliminates the panic. The scariest part the first time was getting undressed. Because getting dressed is fine, like you have time to look at what you're doing and to make sure you're safe. But on the way out, you're like taking off the stuff that has been touched by Ebola. You know 100% that you've just gone inside and touched a patient with Ebola. So that was really scary the first time. But you kind of get into the routine and you just get really, you just become really safe about it. So I'm not saying, it's not hard. I mean, it's not challenging nursing work. It's more kind of the physical demands and the getting used to the routine and more the mental stuff that's harder.
There's just time for some food and some paperwork, and then time to see the patients.
We're going to start getting ready.
Rangel dresses in PPE, personal protective equipment, with meticulous care covering every part of her. Today, she is helping a colleague who is working in the high-risk unit for the very first time.
Once you get everything on, you start to feel a little more comfortable, and we'll just get you through. And you just let me know if you feel uncomfortable at any point, even though we're going to be in for a little bit of time. Even if it's 1 minute, you just go out, okay?
Suited and booted, it's time to head in. Much of the job is basic nursing, cleaning up patients, administering medicine, and passing messages from loved ones outside.
I need to figure out whose wife is. Well, can you ask what are the psychosocial?
Audrey will spend about an hour in the high-risk unit treating patients, although sometimes it does take longer if there are more patients or simply more things for her to do inside. Before she can return to this low-risk unit, she will have to pass through this undressing area. Then it is time to rest before putting on the PPE and starting all over again. Katarina Vitozzi, CCTV, Bangor.